Nö. Nee, mein Rechner will mich mobben. Der will immer Neustart machen und ich kann nicht abbrechen. Was? Hä? Ich weiß, er zählt immer runter und sagt meh, 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 meh und dann... Man musste sagen, abbrechen. Nein, ich will das nicht. Ich hasse das, wenn Microsoft immer sein automatisches Update machen will. Ich mache jetzt ein Update und ich fahre jetzt mal runter in 15 Minuten, wenn du nichts dagegen sagst. Hallo? Was denn mit der Pistole? Fired 3 times. Hm? Stand das vorher auch schon? Wo stand das denn? Woher weiß man das denn? Fired 3 times. Na dann. Ja, bitteschön. This is my evidence. The murder weapon. Naja, jetzt geht's erstmal wieder, aber ich weiß, wie lange der... Wer weiß, wie lange der mich noch lässt. Alle 15 Minuten. Darfst du noch abbrechen drücken. The murder weapon? Something about this pistol was bothering me, Your Honor. Both of the witnesses who testified yesterday heard 2 gunshots. However, the murder weapon was fired 3 times. When, then, was the last shot fired? Only now I have realized the truth. That 3rd shot was the shot Larry heard just before midnight. Oder! Vielleicht Pipi-Pause ist jetzt einmal runtergefahren. Was zur Hölle? Warum? That would make sense of the evidence we've seen so far. However, this leaves me wondering exactly what did happen that night on the lake. Exactly. If this is true, there were 2 sets of gunshots separated by 25 minutes. One at 11:50, another at 50 minutes after midnight. Why, I ask you, why? Uh-oh, I better think of something quick. Wait a second. Gunshots separated by 25 minutes? What's wrong, Nick? I have it! Huh? Remember the case with the steel samurai? Huh? Yeah, of course I remember. The murderer in this case had the same idea as the murderer in that case. What do you mean? Maya! Yes! If we don't figure this out now, we'll never overturn Edgeworth's guilty verdict. We've got a hunch, and I'm going to run with it. Right, I mean, is this safe? Safe? We've already gotten a guilty verdict, we have nothing to lose. Fuck this shit. Der Montagsfluch hat auch meinen Rechner fixt. You just watch and let me know if I say anything that sounds fishy, okay? Right, Nick. Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Wright. The testimony just now has cleared up this entire case. What do you mean, Mr. Wright? So, you finally realized the truth. There can be no other murderer than Miles Edgeworth himself. So, für mich geht's auch ins Bettchen. Viel Spaß beim Wettspielen. So, gute Nacht, Jo. Danke, dass du da warst. Ich wünsche dir noch ganz viel Glück bei deinem Cosplay. Ich hoffe, es klappt irgendwie. Ansonsten, Life is Strange. Ist auch gut. Win-win. Lieber das als, naja, was noch anderes Altes für einen Ball. Ist doch nicht so schlimm. Gute Nacht. Ich hoffe, du kommst morgen zur Schule. Irgendwie, dass du es schaffst, wenn du musst. Schwierig. Wrong von Karma. A man was shot that night, but it wasn't Edgeworth who did the shooting. Listen, rookie. Take a deep breath and consider the facts. At the time of the murder, one boat was on that lake. This was shown by the witness photograph. The defendant Edgeworth and the victim Robert Hammond were on that boat.
There was a gunshot fired on that boat, and Robert Hammond fell into the lake. The distance of the shooting was 1 meter. It couldn't have been suicide. Well, the guilty party has to be the other man on that boat.
Admit, it is hard to imagine any other possibility. Yes, but this assumes that the victim was shot at 15 minutes after midnight. What do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? We have photographic evidence of the time of the shooting. The timestamp on the photo says 0:15. If you love his attorney, shout objection! Objection! Take that! Oh, Pokachute! Pokachute? Cute name, hello! Is it evening at your place? Because it is at mine. So good evening to you and welcome to our Phoenix Wright stream. But Larry heard a gunshot 25 minutes before that. Robert Hammond was killed then, 25 minutes before the shot on the lake. That's the only way that Edgeworth could be innocent. Mr. Wright, are you quite mad? Explain who this is sitting on the boat. The murderer and Hammond? Edgeworth and the murderer? Edgeworth and Hammond. The murderer? Nee. Edgeworth and the murderer. Yeah. Yeah. Of course it was Edgeworth and the murderer. After the murderer killed Robert Hammond at 11:50, he assumed the guise of Mr. Hammond and met Edgeworth. What? Are you serious? Yes, Miss Edgeworth won't tell us why he went to the lake that night. However, I have a hunch. That night, Robert Hammond called Edgeworth to the lake. Now, Edgeworth didn't know Robert Hammond's face that well. That's why he didn't suspect anything when the murderer took Robert Hammond's place. I'm not sure what to make of all this.
Ludicrous!
Mr. Wright, tell us the name of the murderer then. The murderer's name? Right. It's, I don't know. I have no idea. Actually, I don't know the murderer's name. You don't know?
Bah! Again, you waste my time.
I don't know because he never told us. The murderer is the caretaker of the boat shop. That old man. The Star Wars. Danke für diese Referenz, Pan bla. Oh, I'm actually playing the first case of the third attorney game. It's getting intense. I know, it's so intense. And it's getting more and better and rah. I love it. Have fun with it. The murderer is the caretaker of the boat, that old man. At 11:50, he was the one who killed Robert Hammond. The caretaker of the boat shop? Well, where did he do this? There weren't any boats on the lake then. Why would he have to go all the way out on the lake to shoot someone? May I suggest that the real scene of this crime was not in a boat? What? Well then, where did the murder take place? Anywhere else. Show the judge where the murder... Da so? Ist doch egal? Ist das wichtig? Da? Doch, ja. Genau hier. Hier so. Da. Ist richtig. Here, of course, the boat shop where he lives. That way he could meet with the victim without anyone seeing.
Do you have proof that the boat shop was the scene of the crime?
No. Recall Larry's testimony, if you will. That night he was out on the lake in a boat searching for something. He finds it and returns the boat. So. Then, just as he's starting to head for home, he hears a gunshot. He heard a gunshot, Your Honor, even though he was wearing headphones at the time. In other words, the gunshot was very, very close by. Ja, ich kann mir aber vorstellen, dass der See an sich ein bisschen halt. Und, ne? Er hätte ihn bestimmt auch da hinten hören können. Außer er hat halt solche... Wir wissen nicht, was für Headphones er hat. Wenn es solche Complete-Dinger waren. Oder in ihr. Theoretisch könnte es auch in ihr gewesen sein, aber 2001 gab es sie noch nicht. Ergo gab es sie auch 2016 noch nicht. And where would that be if he had just returned a boat? The boat shop.
Ja, da steht.
Mr. Wright, what happened that night on Gourd Lake? Please tell the court from the beginning. Yes, Your Honor. Nick, are you sure about this? Not really. But I think if I start at the very beginning and I take it slow, I might just be able to figure this out. Von Karma has something to do with this case. That's all I can say without spoiling much. I know. I've played it all through once. And I know this is getting very intense and interesting. And this is just the top of the iceberg right now. And I might just be able to figure this out. Okay. That night, the caretaker of the boat shop called Robert Hammond to his shop. This was around 11:50. That was when the gunshot that Larry heard was fired. After that, the caretaker put on Robert Hammond's coat. He became Robert Hammond. Then he got in the boat with Edgeworth and went out into the middle of the lake. Why they would do this, I have no idea. Then who fired the pistol on the boat, Mr. Wright? The boat shop caretaker? Of course it was the murderer who shot the pistol. He shot twice. Both missed Edgeworth on purpose. Wait a minute. Yes? Why would he shoot twice if he didn't mean to hit anyone? If you haven't played the second game, dude, I've played all of them. I love them. Of course I will. I will play through all of them now. In this, well, you know, streaming. So, you're welcome if you want to stay and live through all of them again. Details.
Know this, Mr. Wright. The moment you run out of explanations is the moment you lose. Tell us why the murderer had to fire twice.
Because the first shot missed to create a witness. Yes. I believe he shot twice to create a witness, Your Honor. Create a witness? The murderer lifts his pistol and fires one shot. Psychologs! Yeah, psychologs, as Edgeworth would say. One shot. That ensures that anyone who heard the shot would look back at the lake. Indeed, Miss Hart did exactly that after hearing the first gunshot. Next, the murderer waits a bit and fires again. Then he goes diving. The murderer jumps from the boat himself, leaving the pistol in the boat behind him. I see. To someone